Here we go. So the topic is um, reasons why we may not be experiencing some of the things that we desire. Now, I'm gonna tell you a quick story or experience I had not too long ago. So I was on the farm working, and Baba George High. That's Farmer George, but he said he came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I got something for you." And after this whole event, it was funny, but he brought me a baby turtle, and he said, "I thought of the girls when I found this turtle next to my lake." He's like, "I thought maybe you could get it to the girls," and I said, "You know what? They may like that. Like the girls will like that. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the turtle." So in my mind, beautiful idea. For him, it was a great gesture. He saw the baby turtle. The baby turtle was chilling on a lake somewhere. He said, "These little girls would love a turtle." Brought to me. I jumped on the bandwagon. Yes, these girls would love a turtle. And so I have a turtle. I have a baby turtle. and here's the thing. Before I agreed to accept this turtle, I did not do proper research to find out what this turtle required. So now I'm like, all right, I'm thinking it's a tank. And I know it's cold blooded, so it needs warmth. And I'm like, all right, so I bring the turtle home. So now I'm searching for tanks. So now I find out that the tank has to be 3 times the size of the turtle. Because then the turtle's got to have a basking area with lights, with UVB lights. So now it's like, I not only got to get a tank. Now I have fish tanks all through my house. I'm a big fan of fish. I have fish tanks all through my house. But I went and bought a tank first, not realizing I could use my fish tank. And I have, my daughters have a 10-gallon, and then I have a 30-gallon in one room. I have a 60-gallon in another room. So the turtle got room to grow. But I would just have to move the basking area. But I didn't know anything about a basking area. I didn't know anything about what a turtle required, what it was to make this turtle comfortable, what this turtle needs so that it'll grow and be healthy. I had no idea how to take care of this turtle before I accepted the turtle. Now, this turtle came to me through somebody else. So, how does this correlate? How often in life do we say we want something, or something comes into our lives that we, in our minds, say, man, this could be a beautiful thing, or I could do some great things for it. But the problem is, you have absolutely no experience or knowledge on how to create an environment so that way that experience that you have can grow and you can maintain it. It can sustain itself within your life. How many times do we sit back and we say, "Oh, I want a great relationship. I'm looking for a woman that'll do right by me. I'm looking for a man that'll respect me. I'm looking for these euphoric experiences. I'm looking." How many times, like, think about it. Let's be honest. How often do we do this with ourselves where we are constantly imagining? We're in this fantasy land. We're fanatical. And I always say, like, the difference between fantasy, fanatical thinking, and fanatical ideas, and reality is the creativity and the awareness that is attached to it or not attached to it. So we can dream up all kinds of fantasies in our head about how we want our life to be and who we want to be in our life and how we want them to behave and how we want them to respond. And we can think of all the beautiful things in the world about our life and how we think it should be and how it shouldn't be. But have you done the work to learn if those things are to enter into your life, if these people, these good people that you want to treat you well and to serve you well, if they enter into your life, do you have a space for them? Do you have a space for them that's comfortable? Do you have a space for them where they can continue to grow and be the things that you love about them? Do you have a space for them where you can maintain where they can maintain themselves, or you can assist in their maintenance. Like, do you have room for these quality experiences? And this is something that's often overlooked. It's easy to have a conversation about what you deserve and what you want out of life and who should be in your life, and and the type of man you want, the type of woman that you want, and they need to have this and have all these expectations and all these ideas. It's easy to become real fanatical. You can create a beautiful story in your head. But when it comes to life, these real life experiences, you're dealing with co-creative experiences. You're dealing with individuals that you have to take each other in consideration, so that way you can co-create those experiences well together. But if you're not in a space, if you don't know how to take care of that person, if you don't know what type of environment that person needs, if you don't know what conditions that person has to be, right, it is an unrealistic expectation. So when we talk about people, when we talk about relationships, when we talk about experiences, and then we get in this mind frame and we start saying what we want, we start writing stuff out and we start creating this script in our head, that's non-creative. That's not allowing, there's two things. It's not allowing that person to be authentically expressive in their right, because now for you two to do well together, or for them to meet your expectation, they have to do things according to the script that you wrote in your head, which doesn't allow them to be themselves. And on top of that, now you need to be willing to be able to nurture and take care of that thing. As a man, if I meet all the criteria, Tika, if I meet all the criteria you have, I'm just picking on you for a moment. If I meet all the criteria as a man that you want, have you taken the time to find out what environment needs to be set so that way I can continue being the man that you like? So that way I can continue being the man that you enjoy experiencing. Have you taken the time to say, what is it that allowed him to thrive to this space? And how do I create that in my life? So that way when he enters into my life, that he can continue being him. Because if I stop being me and start doing what you want me to do, then now there's a great quote that I love, and I say it all the time. I believe it's by Osho. It says, when you find a flower and you like it, you pick it and you smell it and you enjoy it. But when you find a flower and you love it, you leave that flower alone, because you know if you pick it, it ceases to be the thing that you love. It ceases to be the flower. The flower dies. So in relationships, think about it. We go into relationships wanting to pick people because we like them. And we want to take them out their environment that allow them to be who they are, that you like so much, and put them in your environment. But yet you haven't set a space for them. And not everything grows in every environment. I work on a farm. I know that there's certain plants that don't do well in certain areas. There are certain plants that do well in extreme heat. There's other ones that don't. If I just go around and start putting plants not paying attention to how those plants thrive in a specific environment, and then I'm not yielding anything, and then I'm sitting here talking about all these plants are bad. I must have got bad seeds, or there's something wrong with the soil. Or I want to blame everything else except sitting back and saying, Lex, did you find out what that plant requires so that way it can thrive and grow? And we got to be honest with ourselves. We got to be real honest with ourselves, because whenever we ask that question, did we do the work? 9 times out of 10, it comes back to we having to do internal work. So that way we can set an environment to where things that serve us can survive. And that internal work is what's difficult because we're so attached to things that don't serve us. We're so attached to our sickness. We're so attached to our toxicity. It's kind of like people who lived a certain way their whole life. Let's talk about food. People who have eaten meat their whole life. And you'll get some people to say, man, I can't give up meat. I love it. Like, there's no way in the world I can give up chicken. There's no way in the world I can give up beef. There's no way in the world I can give up pork. So sicknesses that are being created in our lives through eating meat, they'll never separate from because they're addicted to it. They're not able to throttle back. They're addicted to it. They're addicted to the salt and the sugar that they stick on the meat. So I don't want to make this about food, but it's just a direct correlation is that we have emotional baggage that we're connected to. We have thoughts and ideas and beliefs about people and relationships that we're addicted to that are toxic, that don't serve us. So quality people do not survive well in those environments. Healthy people, healthy, functional human beings do not survive well in toxic spaces. We don't even want to go there. I reposted a post this morning and I spoke about whenever I really did the work, I did the self-work and I started looking at women different. When I did that work, I looked at the woman with such admiration and gratitude, and I elevated the woman to a space to where it's like she is much more than just her body. She is much more than her thighs and her hips and her ass and her breast and her smile and her face. She's so much more than that. And I need to honor her for that. Now that sounds good. That sounds real good. But in that honor and honoring her and making sure that when I see her, I see beyond her physical. So that way she now gets to express her internal self, which what she wants to express. She's a human being. She wants to express that. So me leaving space for her to express that also then says, well, because I'm about my health and I'm about evolution and I'm about development, I need to make sure that she's not sick. I need to make sure that she's done the work. She's done the healing. So now when I look at a woman and I see all the beauty that she has, and as fine as she could be, as fine as she could be, if she's sick, I'm not going there. If she hasn't done the work, I'm not going there because it's toxicity. But me elevating my thoughts and me deepening my understanding of the woman actually created a discipline and a filter for me, a natural filter for me that said, man, she fine, but she looked good, but she ain't good for me. She looked real good, but I could tell by the way that she speaks, the way that she thinks, her energy space that is toxic. It's toxic. And I don't do toxicity. So now my discipline has to grow because my manhood be like, yo, like she could get it. But the evolution of my spirit, the evolution of my energy space, the evolution of my awareness and my consciousness saying she can't get shit except for some healing. Except for some healing. But we have to elevate our awareness. We got to elevate our understanding. We got to have a greater sense of love for each other. So since I have a greater sense of love for women, I have a greater understanding of the womb space and how it creates and what it produces. Not only can I honor her in her health, but I can also honor myself in her sickness. And it's the same thing with the damn turtle. When I honor the turtle and I learn about the turtle and I learn what the environment that turtle needs so that way it can thrive and it be healthy and it can grow and it can do its thing, I have to learn. It ain't about me. It's about that damn turtle. It's about what is required for that thing, for that person, for that relationship to grow. And if you really want that relationship, if you really want that experience, then you have to start finding out what is required of you, what is required within you, so that way you can contribute to the growth and the development. Yeah. What is required within you? What knowledge base do you need to have? What understanding do you need to have so that way you can then nurture and create a space that is non-restrictive, that is functional, and that so that way that person, that relationship doesn't have to limit itself for your comfortability and your level of awareness and your understanding. We got to get rid of limitations and get into expansion. That's what creativity is. Creativity is an expansion. Creativity is an expression. If you can't expand and express yourself, then you're not being creative. So now, let me bring it back. You are being creative, but you're not creating the greatest of yourself. You're not creating the greatest representation of yourself. You're creating a very restricted, harmful, dysfunctional space. You're not elevating it. Because we're creating all the time, in every moment, whether you're creating good or you're creating bad, but you're always creating something. We're always creating something. It doesn't matter. If you sit and do nothing at all for the rest of the day, you still created something. You created nothing. You created a nothingness. So it's important. So I just want to drop this on you. I just want to get in here and chop it up with you a little bit. We got to make sure that we maintain whatever it is that you want in your life, you can have it. Justin, Tika, anybody else who happens to listen to this later on, if they do, you can have everything that you want in life. You can have it, but you have to do the research. You have to do the work. You have to find out what it is that thing that you want. What type of environment does it need to survive? What type of environment, what does it need to nurture and grow and develop? What do you have to feed it on a consistent basis? What does it require? And do you have it to give? Because some of the things that you want, you're not ready for right now. Some of the relationships that you want, you're not ready for right now. You're not emotionally fit to have. You're not socially fit to have. You got more work to do. And trust me, allow yourself to do the work, because it's so much better to receive it when you're ready, rather than receive it and you destroy it because you didn't know what to do with it. You didn't know what to do with it. We meet quality people all the time. I meet quality women all the time. Women meet quality men all the time. But they may not be working in your life because you don't have a space for them. You got too many walls and barriers. You got too many social ideas going on. You're in this script and you're not in the space. So that's my little take on that. I'm gonna go in here. I know Tika has some questions. She said, "Can you explain non-attachment?" So non-attachment could go a couple of ways. Number one is it's not good to be. For me personally, I tend not to be attached to anything outside of my own personal health and development and growth. Because you don't want to get attached to something as it is. Everything grows, everything expands, everything develops. So therefore, because everything grows and expands and develops, you need to be willing to be able to experience something different than what it was yesterday. If you're attached to yesterday, then you cannot enjoy what something is today. If you're attached to me now, and you fall in love with me now, rather just not experience me. Don't become attached. Experience a life. Don't become attached to the idea. Experience it. So that way, as it evolves and as it changes, then you get a new experience. But when you attach yourself to something, then what happens is now you become attached to that thing as it is. And when it goes away, you become disappointed. You become frustrated. This happens a lot in relationships and marriages. We get attached to a person rather than experiencing a person. And then a couple years down the line, as you grow and you develop and people change and their behaviors change and you're no longer feeling the same way about that person. You was attached to who they were before. And this even goes with you. Don't be attached to who you are now. Be attached to your health and your wellness, because that is the foundation for everything. But who you are today is not who you're going to be tomorrow. So always look forward to that development. Always look forward to that development. And don't be attached to things that don't serve you. Examine your life. Look at the people that you have in your life. If there's people that are not serving you well and you can't serve them well, release. Let it go. I hope I answered that well enough for you. How can we as women look at men different? Well, it depends on how you look at men, but look at us as human beings. As a man, see me as a human. See me as a person who is experiencing life just like you. Take me out of your head. Take me out of even right now listening to me, just by habit, it's easy to create an idea of who Lex Kelly is. Let go of that and just experience who Lex Kelly is right now in the moment. So I always say, we only give people the credit that they deserve and they've earned. Give people the credit that they've earned in every moment. So if you're looking for ways to look at men different, look at them as human beings. Look at them as growing human beings, people who are evolving, people who are developing, people who are shifting, and just they're human beings. We eat. I want to say they're like I'm not a man. Like we eat, we breathe, we sleep, we snore. We're ever growing. What I did when I was 17, I'm not doing that shit right now because I've evolved. So look at me as an evolved human being. Look at me the same way that you look at yourself. Give me the same type of forgiveness that you would like for yourself. Reciprocity is important. And when you do that, now you leave room to start experiencing men in the moment for who they are. You start experiencing men for the truth, because now what happens is you start attracting men that are allowed to be that are expressive. And you let them be expressive, because trust me, believe, I meet plenty of people, plenty of women, and I go the other way because I can't be expressive around them. They got too many ideas and beliefs about who men are and how they act and what they do, and I wasn't at that meeting. Now I get it. You learn from past experiences, and you want to take things that you've experienced in the past and just leave it as a placeholder. But you don't make a wall. You don't build bridges and walls and defense mechanisms, because now when you get men that come into your life that are of quality, they can't move. You got too much shit going on. They can't be themselves because you got too much shit going on. All right. So I hope I was able to answer those questions officially. If I haven't, you can holler at me later. I will be setting up a calendar. I will be setting up a calendar to where if you would like to book a personal session with me or one-on-one session with me, you can. So I want to work on that and have that up and running either this evening or tomorrow. And if you want to come on and book a one-on-one session with me, we can do it online. You can book it. We could do sessions. I do packages. I have courses, all kinds of stuff. But right now, if I'm setting that up, so yeah. Hope everybody's having a grand morning. I just wanted to chop it up with y'all. Again, remember, whatever it is that you want in life, whatever it is, I'm not saying don't want it. What I'm saying is learn what is required for it to exist in your life, so that way you can take the proper responsibility to make sure that person and that relationship can grow and thrive and continue to be the thing that you love. But if you don't know how to nurture it, if you don't know how to develop it, then it will die. It will die. And you won't have it anymore. And then you'll try it again. And this is how you get repeat experiences. And you keep trying to ask yourself why you can't keep this or why you can't have this. It's because you don't know how to nurture it. You don't know how to nurture healthy. You don't know how to feed healthy. You don't know how to groom healthy. You just don't know how. And it's okay. Learn. All right? That's my word. Lex Kelly, I'm out. I hope everybody has a great day.